Travis had his marriage arranged by his mom. Emily was the daughter of her best friend. Both mothers had been dreaming about this wedding. Forever at first, the two potential newlyweds balked at their mom's wishes, but after a couple of encounters they started seeing each other in a whole new light suddenly. Going out on a date didn't seem so outrageous anymore. They ended up dating seriously and wouldn't even live together until they both finished college. Once they graduated, Travis suggested in their own place and finally moving in together. Their parents kept nagging them about a wedding, about grandkids. But Emily and Travis just brushed them off like pesky mosquitoes. Neither felt ready for children. They wanted to travel the world, have adventures, keep learning new things for while that all worked out. Travis had a great job at first, so after he and Emily got married, they flew off on a honeymoon, excited for a fresh start in life and raving in the thrill of being somewhere exotic and new. But when they returned, an ugly surprise was waiting. Travis got laid off, forced to frantically hunt for a new gig. Turned out he wasn't exactly a dream candidate in the marketplace. Most places wanted years of experience or a crazy amount of skills, and he didn't quite have either yet. Desperate, he took whatever offer he could land, which was a grueling factory position. The pay was steady, but definitely nothing glamorous, and they could hardly indulge in the lifestyle they'd once dreamed about. Emily, who really hadn't wanted to work at that moment, ended up job hunting too. From then on, everything spiraled downward, argument after argument, endless blame and resentment, all of it chipped away at their little family. Travis: "I'm sick of living paycheck to paycheck. When will we ever get to like normal people?" Emily screamed in the heat of one fight. "This is only temporary, we just have to hang in there." Travis tried to assure her, "Look at how everyone else lives. Check out Samantha. Her man, Brandon, buys her anything she wants. She struts around like a queen, and I'm just..." Emily's voice cracked. "Then why'd you marry me? Go find your precious Brandon if that's what you want." Travis muttered bitterly. Her word scut him to the core. He was doing his best to keep them afloat, but apparently it wasn't enough. He'd never seen such a mercenary side of Emily before, and it left him baffled at the factory. Travis confided in a coworker needing someone to vent to. The coworker listened, then shared how his own first wife constantly nagged about money and shopping until one day he came home to a totally empty apartment she'd split with some wealthy guy, never to be seen again. Travis went home haunted by the idea that the same could happen to him, determined to stop that from coming. True, he decided to take on a side job whenever he could. When he told Emily about his plan, she approved, but her voice carried a note of scorn that cut deeper than gratitude. One day, Travis came home from a shift to find Emily all dressed up, about to head out. "Where are you off to, looking so fancy?" he teased out. She answered curtly, "Why do I have to pry every little thing out of you?" Travis snapped. "Who are you meeting? You ask dumb questions I don't feel like answering," she snapped back. He stormed off too. The bedroom, anger boiling inside. It was obvious to everyone their relationship was on the rocks. Then one afternoon, Samantha, yes, the very same friend of Emily's who supposedly had it made with her husband Brandon, unexpectedly showed up at Travis's workplace. He was taken aback. He hadn't thought she even knew where he worked. She looked rough, eyes and nose red from crying. His first thought was that something happened to Emily, but Samantha shook her head and started sobbing again. "Brandon confessed this morning that he's been sleeping with Emily for a while," she blurted. Travis actually let out a nervous laugh. He didn't want to believe it. Could the predictions from his coworker really have come true? "Are you sure?" he asked, knowing the question was ridiculous. "Of course I'm sure. You think I'm making this up?" Samantha snarled, tears brimming in her eyes. He apologized for doubting her, then asked what she planned to do. She just shrugged helplessly. Travis suggested they meet up later. He had to get back to work. They settled on a little cafe nearby all day. He couldn't stop replaying Samantha's revelation scenes from recent months, clicked into place all the signs he noticed, but ignored by the end of his shift. Travis felt he was losing it. He threw on his jacket, drove to the cafe, and found Samantha still crying. He tried calming her down, and strangely they ended up having a decent talk. She confessed Brandon was far from the perfect prince he pretended to be, but Emily went on and on about how amazing he is. Travis nodded. "I used to think so too until we got married," Samantha said wryly. Travis drove home afterward, determined to confront Emily with everything he knew. He rehearsed a few scathing lines in his head, wanting to hurt her the way she'd hurt him. But when he walked in the door, he got an even bigger shock. Emily wasn't alone. Brandon was there too. Travis froze in, the doorway glimpsing, them in the foyer mirror, both of them, completely unclothed. The worst part, Emily was on her knees in front of him, so absorbed she hadn't even heard Travis come home. He couldn't believe it. The same woman who used to have reservations about every new experience in bed was now doing this with some other guy. The lover, upon seeing Travis's reflection, cursed and grabbed the closest thing for cover. Travis's beloved crochet blanket made by his mother. Any composure Travis had left vanished the moment he saw that. He let out a roar, lunging at Brandon, fist swinging. They brawled furiously, Emily desperately trying to pry them apart. She ended up whacking Travis over the head with a book. "You crazy," he yelled, reeling from the blow. "You're going to kill him," Emily screamed, back with that distraction. Brandon managed to scramble out, clutching his black eye and fleeing. The apartment, Travis was almost relieved. They had no shared property and were simply renting. He felt no need to keep any connection to Emily after her betrayal. They parted for good with a storm of harsh words. Travis's mom called him in tears, begging him to think twice. But he laughed bitterly and hung up about a month after the divorce. Samantha rang him up, excited to share that she'd finally kicked Brandon out. She asked if he wanted to celebrate. The two started talking more often and realized maybe all of this had happened so they could discover how much they had in common. As for Emily, she ended up moving in with her lover, but soon discovered he wasn't so perfect after all. Samantha had been right beneath Brandon's suave exterior, was a total creep. Once he realized Emily had nowhere else to go, he revealed his true colors, controlling her financially and emotionally. She was too ashamed to MIT it too. Anyone stuck in the same trap Samantha once faced, Travis felt zero pity in his mind. Emily had brought all that misery on herself, and there was no going back.